Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk to you about your goals. I want to talk to you about some of those things that you have mentioned, that you have stated that you were going to do, or that you desire to do, or that God was leading you to do. And it is June. We are halfway through the year, and I want to ask you where you are with those goals. Now, I want you to understand that we have gone through half of 2025. We've walked through, endured, gone through 6 months out of 2025. And we are exactly halfway through the year, halfway through 2025. Now, there are some of you in December or January, you made plans and you wrote down goals. You made a vision board. You said that God put on your heart for you to do this project and that project, or to pursue this thing or that thing, or you were feeling like this was your year to really go hard at the gym, or whatever those goals were that you felt were God led. And I want to ask you, where are you right now with your goals? Where are you with your goals? And I hope for most of you, if not all of you, the answer is I'm working on my goals, or I've already accomplished some of those goals. But if you fall within the category of people who have not even started, or you started and you aborted, then I want you to listen very closely to this message, okay? Do not allow yourself to be distracted or to be pulled away from something that you know you should be doing. Okay? Time goes by so quickly. Many times we think that we have time. I have time. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll do this next week, or I'll do this next month. And then the days go by and you're realizing that you actually don't have time. You're realizing that other things end up coming up. Other things end up requiring your energy or your attention, right? And you realize that you actually don't have time. Or in some situations, something happens. Maybe your health is impacted, or you lost a loved one, or whatever it may be. Things happen that cause you to now have to divert your attention to something a little bit more important, or maybe in that season appears to be a little bit more important. And then there are those unfortunate individuals who end up passing, and then they never got a chance to accomplish what they said they wanted to do or they desired to do. So what I want you to understand is time goes by very quickly. You blink and it's already another week. You blink and it's already another month. I mean, look, right now, it's already June 2025. And so I want you to understand that whenever you think that you're going to have time, to push something off into the future, something else is going to happen or come up that's going to require that time or require that attention. So when you have it on your heart to do something, that is when you begin to do it. If God has put on your heart for you to write a book, for you to, start a business, for you to whatever it is that thing is that God has put on your heart for you to do, once he has put it on your heart and you have prayed about it, begin to come up with a game plan and a strategy and begin to take action. Because if you do not do it, you're going to blink and you're going to find yourself a year later, still in that same position, with that same thought, with that same desire, but nothing actually being done or accomplished. Now, some of you may be thinking, or may be saying, well, I don't know where to start, or it feels so hard. So what you need to focus on, one of the things that I tell people, I work one-on-one with people, working on pursuing God-given goals, right? As kind of an accountability partner or an accountability coach, right? And so one of the things that I'll have people do is, okay, don't look at the bigger picture, at the big picture, right? What are all the things that are required for you to do that you are aware of, that you know of, all the things that are required for you to do for you to accomplish this thing, right? What are all the steps that you would need to take? And then begin to take one step and begin to break that down and begin to take steps and begin to take action in that step. So for example, maybe your God-given goal is to write a book. Okay, what are all the things you need to have done to accomplish for you to write this book and for it to be published? Well, what are some of the questions you're going to need to ask? Well, am I going to self-publish, or am I going to try to go through a publishing company? What are the steps that are required for either one of those, right? What's the cost that's required for either one of those? What do those things or those platforms, if I self-publish or if I go through a publishing company, what are they going to require of me? Well, I don't know. Well, how can I find that out? Maybe I can Google and I can look up kind of the steps, the things that are required. Okay, do I even know what my book is going to be about? Have I started writing? How many chapters am I going to need to have? Right? Like, begin to come up with a list of all the things that are going to be required for you to get that thing done. And then start looking at one of the first steps and begin to take action on that first step. Okay. Some of you have the ability and the discipline to be able to do multiple steps simultaneously. Some of you don't have that kind of organization or discipline, and that's okay. You need to know who you are so that you know what you can handle, so that you know how to set yourself up for success, right? So if you're someone who you need to approach things one step at a time because you may get overwhelmed, or it may feel like it's too much for you, or you may deal with ADD or other like attention related issues, then cool. If you know that that is the kind of person you are, then you write down all the steps that you are aware of that need to be done. You take one of those first steps and then you focus on that one step, doing what you need to do before you move on to the next step. Okay? But if you're someone who's able to tackle and handle multiple things simultaneously, then you could be working on multiple different things to get this vision to come to pass simultaneously. You could be already working on writing down how many chapters you're going to have and beginning to write the book while you're researching, am I going to self-publish? What is that? Am I going to go through, let's say, Amazon, KDP? Okay. What is required? What kind of format is this book going to need to be in? Am I going to need an editor? Am I going to need an illustrator? How do I find one? What does that cost? You're going to begin to do multiple things at once because you know you can handle that. Okay. But regardless of who you are and where you fall, it is very important that you begin to take action. One of the things that I've been saying over and over again all year to people that I either work with or on social media is this: you will continue to repeat the same cycles year after year after year, unless you make a decision and you begin to take action. All right. Talking about doing something is not the same thing as doing it. Talking about doing something is not as effective as actually taking the steps to do it. Because we all talk a good talk. We all talk a good talk. But many of us are not those that are actually going to take the steps and actually walk it out. Okay. So stop spending so much time talking and begin to take steps and begin to take action. Remember, the Bible says faith without works is dead. That means that if you truly have faith the way that you say that you do, then there should be some action, some steps that you are taking, proving that you. I was in the middle of recording and then my phone got too hot and died. Okay. But long story short, since I don't know how much time I have, is this: you don't know how much time you have to actually get something done, right? So when God has put something on your heart for you to do, you need to take the steps that you need to take for you to actually do it. Okay. And so if you begin to look at how hard something may seem or how difficult it is, and you're just in the beginning stages and you don't even know where to go, what to do, it can cause you to be so overwhelmed and so discouraged that you actually don't make a move, right? And maybe that's what's happened to some of you. But I want you now to begin to break apart the steps that are required for you to get this thing done. Begin to take write down all the steps that you know of, right? And you could even put them in order if they require a specific type of order. And then take the first step and don't do anything else until you've completed that first step. And then once you complete that first step, you move on to the next step. You should always be working on a step. You should always be working towards this goal until it actually comes to pass, until you have accomplished it. Okay. So that means that you should not have periods where you are idle, periods where you are not doing anything. Because if you do, those periods are going to be stretched out and stretched out and stretched out, and you're going to find yourself in the same position that you were in next year. Okay. So we are halfway through the year. It is not too late. Get started as soon as you can get started. Don't wait for you to feel ready, because you may not feel ready. Okay. Begin to take the steps now. If you feel like God has given you this goal or this project or this desire, then you are required to be obedient to what it is that God has given you to do. Okay. Sometimes we think that it's not that serious and it doesn't matter, not realizing that there are people, there are lives, there are souls, there are things connected to your obedience. right? And there are people waiting to hear your voice. There are people waiting for this product that God wants you to create. There are people waiting for this book that's going to bring deliverance to them in the situations that they're in. There are people waiting for this business to start. Okay? And so until you take the steps and you actually do it and fulfill it, those people are still going to be lacking something that God has given you to provide for their need. Okay? And so my son's in the car. It's school pickup. I gotta run, but this is what I wanted to share with you, is that it is June. It's halfway through the year. If you have not accomplished anything towards your goals, or barely even got started on your goals, let this be the sound clock, the alarm that you need to hear, that you need to get moving. And if you have started, congratulations. Keep going until you accomplish it. And if you have accomplished it, like, congrats, okay? But whatever it is that is holding you back, begin to look at what is holding you back. Is it fear? Is it demonic, right? Is it just lack of knowledge? Is it lack of support, lack of funds? Whatever it is you feel like is holding you back right now, one is probably an excuse, okay? Because we tend to make excuses because we want to justify why we're being disobedient, okay? If it is something demonic, then begin to attack it spiritually. I have a whole masterclass on spiritual warfare. Learn about spiritual warfare and begin to attack strategically, but nothing should be holding you back, all right? Let me know in the comments that you are going to make a decision going today, or where you are on your goals. Let me know if you've started, if you stopped, if you accomplished, or wherever you are. Let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments. All right, bye.